Am I the a-hole for refusing to lend my friend my house for her wedding after she asked me for a paternity test, resulting in her having to cancel the wedding? So, this whole mess started a couple of months ago when my 32F friend, Lila, 31F, got engaged. We've been friends since college, and while we're not as close as we used to be, we still see each other a few times a year. She's always been kind of entitled, but I usually let it slide. Anyway, her fiancé proposed, and she immediately started planning her dream wedding. Problem is, her dream wedding budget didn't match reality. Cue her asking around for favors. Vendors, photographers, venues, you name it, she was trying to get discounts or freebies. Then she came to me. I recently inherited my grandparents' house. It's a beautiful property, big backyard, garden, gazebo, even a pond. I've been slowly renovating it, but it's already gorgeous. Lila asked me if she could borrow the house for her wedding. She pitched it like, it would mean so much to me, and besides, you're not even using it that weekend. Now, I don't rent my place out. It's my home. And hosting a wedding isn't just lending a friend a book, it's letting 100 people trample my yard, use my bathrooms, spill alcohol, break stuff, and basically turn my house into a venue. I told her gently, sorry, Lila, but no. I don't want to host weddings here. She did not take it well. She said I was selfish and didn't understand what friendship meant. We argued and things got tense. I thought that was the end of it. Until the bomb dropped. Out of nowhere, Lila called me a week later and said she needed to ask me a favor for peace of mind. Her fiancé apparently had concerns that my son, 5M, might be his. Lila's fiancé is an old fling of mine, super casual, years before I even met my late husband, my son's actual father. I told her this when they first started dating because I didn't want drama. But apparently, she had convinced herself that my son might be her fiancé's. She asked me no, demanded that I get a paternity test done on my kid. I was floored. Like, beyond insulted. I told her absolutely not, and that she had no right to even suggest it. She accused me of hiding something, said I was ruining her marriage, and then added, if you really cared about me, you'd prove it. I hung up. The fallout was immediate. She started gossiping, trying to convince mutual friends I was shady. Then her fiancé found out about her little accusation, got angry, and called off the wedding. Now she's blaming me for not helping clear things up, and says if I'd just let her have the house and done the paternity test, she'd be married right now. So now I'm the villain, apparently. Half our old friend group thinks she's unhinged, the other half says I could have handled it with more grace. But honestly, I don't think I'm wrong for refusing either of her demands. So, am I the asshole? After the wedding got cancelled, things went nuclear. At first, I thought Lila would cool off and maybe, I don't know, take some accountability. Instead, she doubled down. She started telling anyone who'd listen that I was the reason her fiancé left her, that I refused to prove my son wasn't his, and that my pettiness about not lending her the house ruined her special day. Our mutual friends group chat turned into a circus. One friend, let's call her Marcy, sent me screenshots where Lila wrote, if OP wasn't so stubborn, my wedding would have happened. She's jealous of me and doesn't want me to be happy. Jealous. Of her. Because I wouldn't let her throw a 100-person wedding in my living room? Meanwhile, her ex-fiancé, let's call him Derek, actually reached out to me privately. He apologized for Lila's behavior and said the paternity thing was a deal breaker. He couldn't believe she'd demand that of me and question his integrity at the same time. He confirmed what I already knew. He and I had been together years before my son was even conceived, and my husband was 100% the father. Derek basically said, I'm sorry she dragged you into this. I thought that might be the end of it, but nope. A week later, I came home to find Lila in my driveway, crying. Makeup smeared. She was begging me to fix things. She said if I just agreed to do the test, she could convince Derek to reconsider. She even dangled the promise of an apology afterward if the results cleared me. I told her, my child is not a bargaining chip for her relationship. I don't owe her a wedding venue. She needed to get the hell off my property. That's when she snapped. She started screaming at me, saying I was heartless and destroying her future. My neighbors had to come outside and ask if everything was okay because she was making such a scene. Eventually, she stormed off, but not before shouting, "You'll regret this when everyone knows what kind of person you really are." Now she's in full-blown smear campaign mode. She's posting vague betrayal statuses on Facebook, tagging me in posts about toxic friends, and apparently even told one of our mutuals that I must have something to hide because I overreacted. Honestly, I feel like I'm living in some Lifetime movie. So, after Lila's driveway meltdown, I thought she'd eventually calm down. Nope. She leveled up. The smear campaign went from passive-aggressive Facebook posts to full-blown character assassination. She started messaging mutuals privately, telling them that my son was probably Derek's and that I was too scared to prove otherwise. Some people ignored her, some defended me, but a few actually bought into her nonsense. The worst part? She dragged my family into it. My mom called me one morning saying she got a phone call from Lila. Yep. Lila had tracked down my mom's number and told her that there were rumors about my son's paternity. My mom shut her down fast, but the fact that she even went that far made my blood boil. Then came the wedding venue drama. Since she couldn't use my house, she tried to book another place last minute, but word got back to me that she was bad-mouthing me to vendors too, claiming I canceled on her last second and sabotaged her plans. One vendor who knows me personally called me and said, "Hey, just so you know, Lila is out here making you sound like a monster." It got to the point where I had to lock down my social media. She started tagging me in posts like, "Some people pretend to be friends, but secretly want to ruin your happiness. Watch who you trust." And then, she posted a photo of my son. A picture from a group barbecue years ago that someone else had uploaded. She captioned it, "Crazy how some truths look you right in the face and people still deny it." That's when I lost it. My child has nothing to do with her unhinged drama, and dragging him into her narrative was the final straw. I threatened legal action if she ever posted him again. Derek, her ex, actually backed me up. He messaged her publicly under one of her posts, saying, "Leave OP and her son alone. This is why I left you." Which was both satisfying and brutal. Now half the friend group is avoiding her, the other half is trying to stay neutral, and she's basically isolating herself further. But she's still obsessed with painting me as the villain. At this point, I'm torn between feeling guilty that her life fell apart and feeling relieved that everyone's finally seeing how toxic she really is. The breaking point came a couple of weeks later. One of our mutual friends, Marcy again, invited me to her birthday dinner. I hesitated because I knew there was a chance Lila would show up, but Marcy swore she wasn't invited. Well, guess who walked in halfway through the appetizers? Lila. She looked rough, like she hadn't been sleeping, and the whole room went quiet when she saw me. Instead of leaving or ignoring me, she marched straight to my table, slammed her purse down, and started ranting. "You ruined my life. You took everything from me. You could have fixed this with one test, one favor, but you wanted me miserable." The entire restaurant froze. My son wasn't with me, thank God, but still, I was mortified. I stood up and finally said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Lila, you need to stop. My son is not your ex's. You know that. Derek knows that. Everyone here knows that. You dragged my kid into your paranoia, tried to use my home as your free venue, and when I said no, you tried to destroy my reputation. You didn't lose your fiancé or your wedding because of me. You lost them because of your own behavior. Leave me alone." Marcy's boyfriend actually had to step in and escort her outside because she wouldn't stop screaming. The next day, I finally blocked her on everything: phone, socials, email. I even sent a cease and desist letter after talking to a lawyer, just in case she tried dragging my son's name around again. And here's the kicker. After all this, more of our mutual friends reached out privately and admitted they'd been afraid to cross her because she always manipulated or guilt-tripped people. Apparently, I wasn't the first person she'd alienated. I was just the one who finally drew a hard boundary. Now she's completely cut off from most of the group. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents and is still telling anyone who'll listen that I ruined her happily ever after. But honestly, I feel free. My conscience is clear. My son is safe, my house is my own, and people finally saw the real her. So no, I don't think I'm the asshole. I think I finally stopped being her doormat. If this story kept you hooked, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more.